poppin'? It's your boy Ghiman Mckinney. I'm back at y'all with some more NFL content today. We're going to be coming out with my very first mock draft. Now guys, this is not a prediction video, you know. This is me saying who I would draft if I was in each team's position and where they're picking and what I would do with the pick. It's with the first overall pick. If I was a GM, I would select Quinnen Williams. Now I understand that a lot of people, you know, have Nick Bosa as their number one player, and I get that. To me, Nick Bosa and Quinnen Williams are 1A and 1B. It's that close. But I'd take Quinnen Williams, man. I'm telling you, he's just a rare talent. You know, we've seen a whole lot of Nick Bosa's, you know. Now, he's an elite player, no doubt. But you've seen a Myles Garrett. You've seen a Bradley Chubb. He's basically your typical stud pass rusher who usually goes top 2 in the draft. Quinnen Williams is a different breed. Anytime you can be 300 pounds and move like he does, it's very rare. It's so much rare that you haven't seen anything like it since Aaron Donald, pretty much. He had the 4th fastest 40-yard dash time for a 300-pounder. That's insane. Quinnen Williams also, I think, is a little bit more of a safer pick for the number 1 overall pick. He has had no injury issues in college. And Quinnen Williams can equally affect the run and the pass. The Arizona Cardinals' issue has been that they were dead last in run defense last year. They were pretty good against the pass. I think they were top 10 against the pass. But their run defense is absolutely atrocious. Quinnen Williams can get right in the backfield and affect the run and the pass equally. It's pretty much hard to block him one-on-one. And if you got a D tackle who cannot be blocked one-on-one, it frees up your other edge rushers. And let's not forget, they already have Chandler Jones, guys. I'm not still cracking up sacks each and every year. Not many D tackles come along like him. I don't think he's going to be Aaron Donald, but if you can get anything close to what Aaron Donald could be coming out of college, I think you have to take him. He's an absolute stud. I take him number 1. Now let's go to number 2 overall pick. I gotta take Nick Bosa right here. The 49ers, obviously, you know, they drafted some defensive players. You know, they drafted some edge rushers, but no player is gonna be as good as Nick Bosa. They're gonna draft. He's number 1 on a lot of players' boards. He just is. You know, he's the best edge rusher in this draft, pretty much to me. He's even more, I think, a little more athletic than his brother Joe is. 29 reps on the bench press. You know, like I said, Solomon Thomas and DeForest Buckner, pretty good on the D line for the 49ers. But they're nowhere near close to Nick Bosa's lower production. In 29 games at Ohio State, he had 29 tackles for a loss, 17.5 sacks. You know, he has really good technique. You know, he has a high motor. He's a solid run defender. I just think that Nick Bosa is the second best player in this draft right now. I gotta take him at number 3. Alright, so at number 3 overall, y'all, I got the Jets taking DK Metcalf if I was drafting for them. His combine numbers are similar to Calvin Johnson's numbers. They were that good. He had like the highest vertical jump out of anybody, I think. I mean, he had like over 40, something like that. He ran a 4.33 40-yard dash. I mean, that's crazy. For being a legit 6'4" and about 230, running a 4.33. Woohoo! That's faster than Odell Beckham Jr. and Julio Jones. I mean, just for his size to be able to move like that is crazy. Now, he does have some injury concerns. I understand that. You know, his numbers weren't as great at Ole Miss due to the injuries. You know, he missed a lot of games. And, you know, Sam Darnold, he needs another weapon. The Jets' offense was 25th in the league last year. I just think DK Metcalf, you know, he could be Sam Darnold's go-to wide receiver for a good 10 years. And Sam Darnold, you know, give him some weapons because, let's be real, guys, who is he throwing to? Robbie Anderson and Chris Herndon? I mean, who are they? I mean, wide receivers, a lot of the times, are very undervalued. You know, DeAndre Hopkins, he went 27th overall. I guess Michael Thomas was the 46th overall pick. 46th overall pick, as good as he is. Odell Beckham Jr. somehow got left out of the top 10 in his draft. He's basically like Dez Bryant in his prime, but a lot bigger, a lot faster, a lot stronger, and a better route runner. I mean, and the production was there. Like I said, the only thing that really held him back was that he missed so many games. The Oakland Raiders, I got him taking Josh Allen. If I'm them, I'm taking Josh Allen at this point. You know, the Raiders, they only had 13 sacks as a team last year. Raiders had 13 sacks as a team. 13! Do you realize there are some players in the NFL that have more sacks than the Raiders had as a team? I mean, them trading Khalil Mack was an absolute joke. I do not understand why they traded Khalil Mack at all. I just don't. I think they need to take Josh Allen. Josh Allen had about 17.5 sacks last year. He's a legit 6'5", about 260. I mean, he ran a 4.6 40-yard dash. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's pretty versatile too. You know, you can move him around a little bit. I just think, you know, you need to replace Khalil Mack's production. And the Raiders were the 32nd worst defense last year. They were dead last as far as points per game were allowed. They were bottom 5 as far as yards allowed. You need pass rushers. You cannot get enough pass rushers. Josh Allen is going to fill the void for Khalil Mack. Tampa Bay Buccaneers could go a lot of directions with this, but I'm going to have them taking Greedy Williams. Williams. Greedy Williams really impressed today at the combine. Ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. I mean, a lot of people thought he would run in the mid 4.4s. But I think they really need to bolster up that secondary. I like Carlton Davis, their number one corner. Carlton Davis is a nice little player for them, but he's definitely not going to be their number one corner for the future. I think he's more of a number 2 or a number 3. So you put Greedy Williams with him, you got a little. Their pass defense was 26th in the league last year. Greedy Williams is a legit 6'2", about 185. He can cover pretty much anyone on the field, whether it be tight ends, big wide receivers, small wide receivers. Has the speed to do so. He just showed you there with his 40 time. Pretty much line him up anywhere, and he can cover anyone on the slide. He can cover anyone on the outside. A great, solid pick right there for the Buccaneers. At number 6, I got the Giants taking Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins is just that good. I mean, I was fortunate enough. I'm an Ohio State fan. I've seen him live twice. I saw him at the Michigan game. I saw him versus Minnesota. He ate Michigan alive, the number 1 defense at the time. He's 6-0 versus top 25 defenses, guys. He threw 20 touchdowns to 2 interceptions versus those top 25 defenses. So he can make all the throws, and he throws a lot of great touch in those intermediate routes and short routes, while also having enough velocity to zip the ball into tight windows. I think Dwayne Haskins, look, I'm not going to say he's going to be Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, a couple good quarterbacks that have come out recently. But he's right in that same boat. Now, he's not much of a runner, but you look at Tom Brady. Is he a runner? No, he's still great. You look at Drew Brees. Is he a runner? No, he's still great. You look at Phillip Rivers. He made the playoffs. Is he still a good quarterback? Yes. I think Dwayne Haskins has a lot of potential. He can pretty much fit into any system. If you have to ask him to throw the ball 40, 50 times, he can do it. I saw him throw it 73 times versus Purdue. Had over a lot of yards in that game. I don't care what anybody says. Eli Manning's done for. He's washed up. I don't care what the stats say. I watched the games. Eli Manning is not a good quarterback anymore. He's absolutely terrible. He's on his way out the door. Dwayne Haskins, you can sit behind, Eli Manning for a couple games, maybe in the whole season, and develop. And, that'll really help him, I think. I think Dwayne Haskins and the Giants are going to be great for 10 years down the road if they get their hands on Dwayne Haskins. Number 7 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got them selecting Jawan Taylor. I think he's the best offensive lineman in the draft to me. Now, it's pretty much set in stone that they're going to sign Nick Foles this year. Their offensive line allowed 53 sacks last year. That's not very good. So I think they do need to address that. I do think they're going to start going back to running the ball with Leonard Fournette a lot. So you're going to need a lot of great offensive linemen to run the ball with Leonard Fournette. You're going to need a good offensive line to protect Nick Foles. I don't think Nick Foles can make up for a terrible offensive line. I think in Philadelphia, he was in the perfect situation. I think he's the best offensive lineman in this draft. I'm going to go with him, Jacksonville Jaguars. Detroit Lions, I think they should take Clelin Ferrell if he's there. Clelin Ferrell, out of Clemson, probably the best, most dominant player on that great Clemson defense. They got a ton of talent. It's going to be drafted. I can name about 5-6 guys that are going to be drafted in the top 2 rounds of this draft. Clelin Ferrell was the most productive out of all of them this year, guys. He had 20 and a half tackles for a loss, 11 and a half sacks. He absolutely dominated Jonah Williams when they faced Alabama. He's a great run defender. He obviously can get after the quarterback. You can't get enough pass rushers. Pair him with Ziggy Ansah, and Detroit Lions really got something. Number 8 overall, I got the Buffalo Bills taking N'Keal Harry. Listen, you got to get Josh Allen some weapons. His best wide receiver this year as far as production was Zay Jones. Zay Jones. Who is Zay Jones, man? Robert Foster. These are guys Josh Allen's throwing to. I do think, N'Keal Harry, he's about 6'3", 6'2", can really go up and get those jump balls. He's just a freak of nature. He has great hands. He can get open. Josh Allen likes to take a lot of shots down the field. I think he can take advantage of N'Keal Harry getting vertical, winning those 50-50 balls. With N'Keal Harry is covered, he's basically open because he can win those 50-50 jump balls. I think you got to take N'Keal Harry right here. Get Josh Allen some weapons. At number 10 overall, I got the Denver Broncos, if he's there, selecting Ed Oliver. Listen, I think that they're going to need to start to follow the mode. They got Joe Flacco now as their quarterback. So basically, you have your quarterback for the future. I don't think you draft a quarterback just due to the fact you traded for Joe Flacco. Now, they could go offensive line here. They could go wide receiver, but I think they have some pretty solid wide receivers already. You got Courtland Sutton. You got Emmanuel Sanders. You already got your feature back. And Phillip Lindsay, you got another. Why not go get Ed Oliver? Add strength to strength. You put Ed Oliver on a defensive line with Bradley Chubb, with Von Miller, and that defense already being top 5 in the league. Oh my God. That's pretty much, it's pretty much the model you would use when Joe Flacco won Super Bowl with the Ravens. You know, he had pretty good receivers and Torrey Smith and Quan Bolden, pretty decent tight ends. You know, had a dominant defense and a great running game with Ray Rice and things like that. And for a while, Ed Oliver was projected to be the #1 overall pick, but you know, he fell off a little bit. He's legit 6'2", 280, has great ball get off. I just think he's an absolute stud. He has a lot of potential. Just needs to clean a couple things up. I think Vic Fangio, the best defensive mind in the NFL, can really coach him up and get the best out of him. Number 11, I got the Bengals selecting Devin White. Devin White's an absolute stud. I think he's a top 5 player in this draft even. Devin White ran a 4.43 40-yard dash. He can go sideline to sideline. He's a great middle linebacker. I'm out of LSU. He can rush the passer. He's an excellent tackler. Probably the best tackler in this draft, like I said. Cincinnati Bengals defense was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, 32nd in total defense, 38th in scoring. A great middle linebacker fixes a lot of those issues. I think Cincinnati steps in the right direction and takes Devin White. All right, so number 12, my Green Bay Packers. My Green Bay Packers. We're going to get Montez Sweat. We're going to get Montez Sweat. I love Montez Sweat. I think he set a record for, you know, a 40-yard dash. You know, he's 6'6", 260 pounds, and ran a 4.41 40-yard dash. That's faster than Odell Beckham Jr. ran at the combine. I mean, very lengthy, very long, can affect the run game, can affect the pass, knows how to get off blocks and rush the quarterback. Best player, probably the best defense in the country in Mississippi State. Statistically, they're probably the best defense. You know, he's the most productive player on that defense. Had about 14.5 sacks, 11.5 tackles for a loss. A little bit raw in some areas, but I just think the potential's off the charts. You know, I don't want to have to rely on Kyle Fackrell next year. I don't want to have to rely on Reggie Gilbert or Nick Perry or even Clay Matthews again. We need to get a younger on the edge. I think he immediately helps our pass rush. I think he has the potential to be one of the 3 best players in this draft. I got to take Montez Sweat. Number 13, I got the Dolphins taking Kyler Murray. All right, listen, I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill. I just don't. You know, he's 6 years in. You know, 6 years is long enough. The dude's trash. Get Kyler Murray up in there. Kyler Murray is a great quarterback. A lot of people say, oh, but he's not, you know, a great pocket passer. I don't understand that because, you know, he threw from the pocket 90% of the time he was at Oklahoma. Now, I do think Kyler Murray has a little bit of limitations. I don't think you can ask him to throw the ball 30, 40, 50 times a game, just like you can do with Dwayne Haskins. You know, and you could say, oh, he could be Russell Wilson, but there's another Doug Flutie. There's another Johnny Manziel for every Russell Wilson you can get. I mean, Russell Wilson's a rare breed. Now, Kyler Murray won the Heisman Trophy, obviously. Very productive. Very accurate. Has the baseball background, can throw from different tight windows, different arm angles. He can side arm it, all that good stuff. Very great runner. But he looks to throw rather than to run. So that it has me optimistic. I think Dolphins just need better playmakers, and they don't have a great playmaker at quarterback. You need a franchise quarterback. Take him Miami. Get rid of Ryan Tannehill. Falcons selecting Byron Murphy out of Washington. He's an absolute ball hog. You know, 6 interceptions in 20 career games. Ran a 4.55 40-yard dash, but you know, when you watch him play on tape, he plays a lot faster than the guys. He really does. He's a hard hitter too. He's probably the best tackling defensive back in this draft. He knows how to lay the hammer on somebody, and that's pretty impressive for someone being about 5'11". The Falcons' defense was absolutely terrible last year. They were the 28th ranked total defense, 27th against the pass. You need an absolute playmaker. He has a knack for creating turnovers and being around the ball. I think the Falcons have improved immensely in their secondary. You got rid of Robert Alford. So you know, I think that, you know, Byron Murphy is going to be a solid number 2 aside Desmond Trufant, who's a pretty good corner. All right, number 15, I got the Washington Redskins selecting Marquise Hollywood Brown out of Oklahoma, wide receiver. Honestly, outside of Jordan Reed, who do the Redskins have wide receiver? Jamison Crowder. I mean, I like him, but he's not a number 1 wide receiver. Josh Doxson. I mean, who is he? You know, Marquise Hollywood Brown is a playmaker. He has about 4.3 speed. He's just that good. You know, he knows how to get open, knows how to find soft spots in the defense, can pretty much run every route in the route tree. An excellent deep threat. You know, you throw a little slant to him, he can take it 80-some yards to the house. He's that fast, he's that quick, he's that shifty. Now, a lot of people say, oh, but you know, Alex Smith's hurt. Why not take a quarterback? What do you think, you know, the Redskins can take a Will Greer? They can take a Daniel Jones, you know, or Drew Lock out of Missouri. They can take one of those 3 in the second round. I think one of those 3 will be there. They were the 28th ranked passing attack. You need to give Alex Smith and those guys some weapons, so give them some weapons. get Marquise Brown. Now I got the Carolina Panthers taking Rashawn Gary out of Michigan. Now a lot of people have Rashawn Gary in their top 8, top 5, but I just don't really see it with Rashawn Gary. I'm not bashing him. I think he's a pretty solid player, but I just don't see the production there. He's not a stat stuffer type of guy. He's not going to give you a whole lot of sacks, but he's going to impact plays. He's always going to be around the ball. He's a great athlete, has a ton of potential. He ran a 4.61 40-yard dash. He plays a 3.4 DN, kind of inside, on the edge. Not necessarily a natural pass rusher, but I just think his versatility is too good for the Panthers to pass up on. They need to fill that void with Jabril Peppers being gone. I think, he has a lot of potential, but I didn't see the production. The best season he had only had about 5.5 sacks. I just need to see a little more from Rashawn Gary, but to me, he's a pretty good player still. Cleveland Browns. I think they should take Dexter Lawrence or a D tackle. They traded Danny Shelton away a few years ago, so there's a hole at D tackle. They were the 30th in total defense, 28th against the run. So, Dexter Lawrence is 340 pounds. He'll eat up a lot of space. He can definitely help you in the run game, one of the best run defenders in this draft. You could go wide receiver here, but I think there's some pretty good wide receivers in the second round you can go after. So, don't pass on a stud like Dexter Lawrence. Can't put him on the D-line with Myles Garrett. He'll eat up a lot of blocks. You pretty much can't block him one-on-one. So, there'll be 2 people trying to block him. They'll free up Emmanuel Ogbah and Myles Garrett, and the Cleveland Browns will have their D tackle for a good, 10 years with Dexter Lawrence. He's that good. Also, the Vikings. I got them selecting Cody Ford, offensive tackle / guard at Oklahoma. To me, he's the second best offensive lineman in this draft. He was probably the best offensive lineman on the best offensive line this past year. You can argue Wisconsin's offensive line was probably the best, but Oklahoma had the best offensive line. He was probably the best player on that offensive line. The Vikings fired their offensive coordinator last year. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't protect Kirk Cousins. So, when you have a bad offensive line, pretty much the last 4 years they've had a bad offensive line. You look at Minnesota, there's not a whole lot of weaknesses. Decent quarterback, even though I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. Dalvin Cook, pretty dynamic running back. They have elite wide receivers, good tight end. Very, very good defense. They just need a good offensive line. Now, the Tennessee Titans are up next. I got them selecting A.J. Brown out of Ole Miss. Marcus Mariota, not an elite quarterback. Just not. I haven't seen it for Marcus Mariota. Due to this, they need more weapons. Corey Davis is a solid number 1 wide receiver, but they need a couple more weapons, I think. He ran a 4.8 40-yard dash. He just get the ball in his hands, he can make things happen. He gets a lot of yards after the catch. He knows how to find soft spots in the defense. This was the 29th ranked passing attack last year. The Titans need more weapons, so I think that they take the best wide receiver on the board, in my opinion, in A.J. Brown. Steelers fans have been complaining about their secondary for years. They've been saying this secondary is trash, it's terrible. I think they got to take DeAndre Baker here. The best defensive back left on the board so far. DeAndre Baker has some of the best instincts I've seen in a long time. One of the best, probably the best zone defender in this draft. Can play very physical at the line of scrimmage as a playmaker. Doesn't always necessarily get a lot of interceptions, but he's always around the ball. Rarely out of position. I worry about his top of the line speed. He's a solid cornerback. Out of Georgia. He's 5'11", but is a very, very willing tackler. I just think you gotta take him. Joe Hayden's okay. Burns is okay, but they need more players in that secondary. Seattle Seahawks. I got you taking T.J. Hawkinson, tight end out of Iowa. Listen, Seattle can use a safety. They can use an outside linebacker or an edge rusher. But I think he's a perfect fit for the Seahawks. They had no production out of their tight ends last year. Absolutely no production. You get the best tight end in the draft, arguably, in T.J. Hawkinson. He's the best and most complete tight end. He can absolutely block too, so he'll help your offensive line, which is not that good. I just think you need a lot of weapons, Russell Wilson. Give Russell Wilson some more weapons. I think you need weapons to keep up with teams in the NFC like the Eagles, the Saints, whether it be the Rams, even in your own division. I like the fit. I understand if you go safety or edge rusher, but this is what I would do. I would take T.J. Hawkinson right here. Number 22 overall, the Baltimore Ravens. I got them selecting Josh Jacobs out of Alabama, running back. Now, I really wanted them to take a wide receiver due to the fact that Michael Crabtree is now gone from the team. They released him. I think the rest of the wide receivers are pretty much second round guys. So I think they can get someone solid in the second round. So why not take Josh Jacobs? He's the most complete running back in this draft. Strength, speed, agility, the ability to cut through blocks. He has great vision. Also is a great receiver out of the backfield. He can also block too. Listen, Lamar Jackson has not shown he can throw the ball consistently down the field. You're going to need to be able to run the ball a lot. Only asking to throw about 20, maybe 30 times, and you got a little something to Lamar Jackson. All right, number 23, I got the Houston Texans selecting Jonah Williams. And listen, this is all I have to say. Deshaun Watson was sacked over 60 times. over 60 times. That's absolutely brutal. And he's a running quarterback, guys. This Texans offensive line is terrible. And a lot of people thought, John Williams was the #1 offensive lineman coming into the year. He's a little bit undersized for me, but he's still a very, very good prospect. They might get a steal here. Just get someone in there. Get someone in there. All right, so the Raiders. I got you taking Devin Bush. The second best linebacker clearly to me in the draft. Very instinctive player, Bush is. Excellent sideline. The sideline speed ran about a 4.2 in the 40. He's an excellent tackler. That's great. Elite speed right there, too. A little bit undersized, but he plays a lot bigger than he looks. Right? He fixes a lot of issues on that Raiders defense. This is the worst scoring defense, bottom 5 run defense. I think he immediately fills some holes for the Raiders. I got the Eagles selecting Julian Love, cornerback out of Notre Dame. All I heard from Eagles fans every time they lost, oh, it was the secondary, man. All our secondary players was hurt, man. It was the secondary. We don't got enough depth, man. It is the secondary. Yeah, well, fix it. Not elite athlete, but a pretty good athlete. 4 or 5 speed can work. He ran 36 passes defended in 2 seasons, so he's always around the ball. He's an elite. He's a willing tackler. The Eagles' pass defense was 30th in the league, so Eagles fans were actually making some sense. But I do think that you can never get enough cornerbacks. Number 26, I think the Indianapolis coach should take Jeffrey Simmons. He's the off the charts player. A lot of people even have him in their top 10. It's just so many great D tackles that I've been following here. I think that the Colts need to improve their defense a little bit. I think that they can really, really get some great offensive players, wide receiver too, to complement T.Y. Hilton with the second overall pick in the second round. I think Jeffrey Simmons, he's too talented of a player to pass up. You got about 19 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, can affect the run and the pass. They're getting a great player here at number 26, and even maybe a steal. Raiders. Chauncey Gardner Johnson out of Florida. I got them taking the free safety, Chauncey Gardner Johnson. Now, a lot of people have Deontay Thompson as their #1 safety, but I just think Johnson is better. I really do. I've watched a lot of tape of both. Johnson ran the 40-yard dash under 4.5 seconds. He's got elite speed. People do not talk about him enough. He is excellent at getting off blocks and finding the ball. He has great instincts. He's always around the ball. He's very versatile. He played a lot of sort of quarterback too. He can play in the box a little bit. I think the Raiders would love his versatility. He had 71 tackles last year, 9.5 tackles for a loss, 4 interceptions. Just an absolute playmaker. The Raiders will love him. Christian Wilkins, to me, will go to the San Diego Chargers at number 28. The Chargers need help on the interior of the defense. They don't have bad D tackles. They don't necessarily have elite D tackles. I think that's a little bit of a hole in their defense. They got absolutely bullied by the Patriots in that playoff game. I do think that you could go offensive lineman, but you need a little bit of a space eater. Christian Wilkins, 6'3", 315 pounds. I like him a lot. Kansas City Chiefs will take Deontay Thompson, in my opinion, if he's there. The best safety on the board, best DB left. You compare him with Eric Berry. He can play in the box. Very versatile. Does take a lot of chances at times, but he's pretty rangy, has good length, has long arms. He can play the ball pretty well. Very good center fielder if you put him there. I think he's a very solid tackler. I think he's the best defensive back right there. Noah Fant, I think he's going to go to Green Bay if he's there. He's basically a wide receiver in a tight end body. He's 6'4", 250 pounds. He's a matchup nightmare. You put a linebacker on him, they're too slow to cover him. With that speed, 4.5 for a tight end. That's elite. That's elite speed for a tight end. Cornerbacks often are too small. He'll just buy him and catch the ball over. He's a matchup nightmare. Noah Fant, vertically can stretch the field. I think he's going to do great things in Green Bay. Mack Wilson, I got him going to the Los Angeles Rams. Very tough, 6'1", 240-pound inside linebacker. Rams' run defense at times was very suspect. They were 23rd in the league. They play a very aggressive scheme. They need a good inside linebacker to be there in the second level to stop some of those running backs from running all over the place and get tackles. I think they got exposed by the Patriots in the playoffs as far as their run defense goes, so I think they should take him. Last but not least, the New England Patriots, I got him selecting Brian Burns. I think Trey Flowers might leave in free agency, so this makes sense. He ran about a 4.5 40-yard dash. I think Bill Belichick can coach him up a lot. He has a lot of potential, but he needs to unlock that potential. If Trey Flowers is gone, he could be your number 1 pass rusher. If he's not, pair him up with Trey Flowers. So that's why I have the Patriots taking. But that's a wrap for this mock draft. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, give me your comments. Where do you think I'm right? Where do you think I'm wrong? It has been your boy Ghiman Mckinney, and I'm Ghost.